Hi, welcome to Makeup and Metaphors with me, Anya, where we read books and we serve makeup looks here on this channel. If you've not been here before, then welcome. Thank you so much for clicking. And also, if you have been here before, then welcome back. Thank you for coming to yet another video of mine. It's been quite a while since I've posted here. The last video that I uploaded was when I actually changed my hair from this color to this color. And it was quite a procedure, took quite a long time in order to do it. And now you can see the roots that I have. Today, I want to go through some of my favorite drugstore products, things that I very easily get from Superdrug, Boots and Amazon, places like that do not cost a fortune, to show that you can really have excellent makeup with excellent coverage and superior quality with a fraction of the price tag that you would on high-end makeup brands. So I'm all ready to go. I've got my box of stuff here that I want to talk about. Everything from hair care to primer, concealer, foundation. So I thought I'd just get stuck right into it. I'm going to take off the makeup that I currently have on, and as I talk through each product I will put it on so that you can see why it is that I specifically like these products. Okay, so that's all the makeup removed. So before I even start with my primers and my foundations, etc., the first thing that I want to talk about is that I've actually been getting into tan a little bit, which is complete sacrilege compared to what I usually do, because I'm usually so pale and really fully living my Irish life. As someone who really admires and follows Jamie Genevieve, I've got her U-Tan gradual building tan face spray. So literally every second night after I have my bath or my shower or whatever, after I dry, I just pop this on my face, and I usually just pop a bit on my arms as well and on my chest, and it's made me look a lot more alive and healthier. And also, so it's CBD gradual facial mist. It's infused with CBD and Scottish lavender oil, and a lot of people online have been claiming that it's been helping to calm down their acne, and I can totally go alongside with that. I can say that while I still obviously have my acne breakouts, this has completely calmed down my skin while giving me back almost like a little bit of life. So I 100% recommend this. I'm not going to put it on now though, obviously, because I'm going to put on some makeup. The first product I'm going to do is for my primer. So this is the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. It literally looks like putty in the pot. It's pretty cool to play with and feel. It's got a really odd texture to it and kind of fills your pores up. This kind of went a bit viral online for a little bit. People like Jeffree Star and all those influencers were trying it out and making all these videos about how brilliant it was, and it is very good. It does definitely smooth out your skin and give the illusion that you are poreless for sure, or at least makes them less obvious. Okay, I'll let that sink into the skin for a moment, and I'm gonna get my foundation now. So I usually use a little bit more bougie foundations. I have my NARS Longwear Radiance, or I have my Huda Beauty foundation that I've been wearing for a while as well. But that doesn't mean that you still can't get excellent foundations at the drugstore. I have a mixture because I find that I'm usually in between shades, especially if I'm doing this gradual face tanner mist. So the one that I'm going to use today is from Milani. It's the Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1. I got this in Boots. It is a very thick foundation, so this is definitely for a full coverage kind of look. And I'm going to use a foundation brush with this as well. Sometimes I change it up between beauty blender sponges and foundation brushes, but today I just feel like using a foundation brush, might as well. This might be a little bit pale on me, but we can always darken it up with our contour and our bronzer. Yeah, that's very pale. Oh gosh. One thing I do notice with this foundation is that it does oxidize a little bit, and also I like to match them to my neck as best possible. So as you can see, my neck is actually quite pale, so when I run that foundation down, it blends into it quite seamlessly. So even though it looked shockingly pale when I first applied it, actually matches quite well. It's just because I have the tanning mist on my face right now. So before I even continue, I'm going to tell you quickly how I'm basically blending my roots into my hair. I know it's not perfect, but my hair is actually a very kind of light brown / dark dirty blonde, and I've been using this root spray from L'Oreal, and I even bought all the hair dye and bleach to do my roots recently, but because my hair is quite damaged at the moment, I want to leave it. I tried out this root spray and it's awesome. It's almost like dry shampoo, but for colouring your hair. So literally you just spray it on, and I usually brush it in as well, just because I don't want it to be kind of loosely on there. And it just kind of seamlessly blends it in a lot better. So I've been using that at the moment just to help out with the fact that my roots are so long. So I definitely recommend the L'Oreal Magic Retouch Root Spray. It's awesome. Next then in my step is going to be my concealer. So I have the L'Oreal Infallible Concealer. It's excellent. I'm just going to put this in the very inner corners of my eyes, and then at an upward angle at the very edge, just to give it that full kind of lifted look. And then anywhere where my spots are quite bad. So I'm right now having a random breakout here on this side of my face. nothing too bad there, just a little bit there. And then I'm just going to blend that in with the same foundation brush that I just used. I'm not going to bring the concealer down, I'm going to keep it very much there under my eye because we just want to lift the eye up. So while I'm not actually going to liquid contour or cream contour today, just because I want to keep this look nice and easy, but I found that one amazing way to cream contour or liquid contour from the drugstore is actually just buying the concealer in a much darker shade and drawing it on that way and blending it in, rather than having to buy a whole palette of maybe 6 or 7 or 8 shades that you wouldn't use. So instead just buying a dark version of this and doing your contour that way. But we're going to powder contour today. Even though it's not available at the drugstore, but is still available at drugstore prices, I'm going to recommend the RCMA loose translucent powder, which looks like this. Available, well, obviously not covered in dirty makeup like mine, but available on most makeup websites. I usually get mine off Beauty Bay. The only trouble with this is that you don't pour it, you have to take the lid off and then it's powder like that. So you usually need some kind of lid to catch it. So I'm using a lid from a different powder, popping this in. For brushes as well, there's so many varieties of brushes out there nowadays, especially really cost-effective ones. Some of the best ones really that you can get at the drugstore are the Real Techniques ones. This here is a Real Technique one. I think it was like a special edition one, but I do have a lot of Real Technique brushes. They're just fantastic for makeup. But I also do quite recommend Morphe brushes. And I know that now Morphe is available in quite a few Boots. So I know, like for instance, Boots and Blue Water has a Morphe stand, as well as a Huda Beauty stand, but I still wouldn't really consider them drugstore. They're not really in every drugstore, but Real Techniques you see pretty much everywhere. So I put the majority of the powder under my eyes, and I've also just put them along the lower half of my face just to kind of bake, because I want them all to be slightly lighter. And then I'm just going to, with a different brush that is just a bit larger, I'm just going to swirl it around the excess powder and just swirl it around the rest, just to set all of that liquid in place. Right, so next step for me is going to be my contour and my bronzer. So I actually have been using the Patricia Bright Revolution little trio here. It's got a bronzer, a blusher and a highlight. Really cost effective. Another bronzer which is excellent, which I do believe they have Physicians Formula at Boots now, but I actually got this on Amazon. As you can see, it's well loved right all the way down to the pan. This is really great as well, but I'll just stick with the Revolution Patricia Bright one for now. Anything Revolution is great. Just under the cheekbones and then up, very quick. And then all the places that the sun would naturally kind of fall, or the shadows would naturally fall. So around the hairline. And then I'm just going to pinch my brush to make it slightly thinner. Dip it into the contour and just, or into the bronzer, and just pop it either side of my nose, just to give my nose that little bit of definition as well. And then into the blush, tap that on. Just on the very corner and tops. Blush, tap that on, corner and tops again. And I might as well use this highlighter, but I'll show you the other ones that I have, which I also really rate. So the sleek one I've had since, feels like the dawn of time. It's completely gone down to the pans on both of these. Also Soph from Soph Does Life. This is her highlighter palette, which is also brilliant as well. Actually quite similar to the sleek one if you compare them. The pinks are quite similar in it, and the purple. I'm going to put some setting spray on actually before I put this on. Just a little trick to make sure that all the powder is nicely melded together. I've used quite a lot of bougie setting sprays in my life, from Gerard Cosmetics to Urban Decay All Nighter to, I don't know if you've seen the video of where I tried apparently the world's strongest setting spray with green marble, but the one that I have found actually suits my face the best is from Primark. It's called PS Glow. They also have PS Matte, which I have here as well, but I find that dries out my skin quite a lot. But this, I do have the large version of this as well, PS Glow. Because I wear quite a few layers of it to really make my makeup seem like it's my own skin, I have found that this is the best one for kind of hydrating and introducing the hydration back into your skin after you've dried it out with the powder. So I'm just going to spritz this on before I do my highlight. It'll also make the highlight really pop. Let that dry. So I'm going to go with the one from the Patricia Bright palette, just because then you'd technically have just used one palette for all three of these things, which would obviously be very cost effective. While my face is still a little bit damp, I'm going to just pop that right there on the highest part of my cheekbone and around almost the edge of my eye socket, and that'll just catch the light the way that I want it. Same on this side. Next steps then for myself would be brows. So this XX Fine Brow, it's great. I still completely stand by the Urban Decay Brow Blade, but that is not DrugStore, so I'm not going to use it. But you get a nice spoolie and then you get a nice thin pencil as well. So I'm just going to add in those hairs. Yeah, nice and thin. I also use my Urban Decay Brow Blade to fill in some of my beauty spots, or moles as some people call them. I also think that it again makes it look like you're not wearing very much makeup, to then put some of those, not imperfections, but some of those unique characteristics of your own skin back into it. So for instance, I have a beauty spot here, I also have one here, and I add to, if I ever have issues with acne, with raised bumps on my skin, I will add a beauty spot to it, which will then give it the illusion that it's, I'll pop that there. I usually use my Brow Blade ink for this and turn that into a beauty spot, and it looks like I've just added in just a few like little, I got a beauty spot here too, there we go. Just added a few of these things back into my skin, give it that little bit of a naturalist again. Another spritz of setting spray, Primark's finest. So to be honest, eyeshadow from the DrugStore has upped its game so much over the last 5-6 years. In particular, brands like Revolution, I have to admit, is one of my favourite DrugStore brands. So I've got two different palettes from Revolution that I want to talk about today. The first one is Soph. This is her original palette. I use this all the time. It really is excellent. I think I paid £10 for it. That she also has Soph Spice that is somewhere in my drawers too. And as well as that, I have this Revolution CBD palette, chilled with cannabis sativa. Obviously nothing in here is actually illegal or anything like that, but it's just got really beautiful colours in it, and they're quite pigmented, very easy to work with, especially if you take your time blending. I'm going to take Relax from this palette here, just like a little buffer colour. Oh look, there's me. So I'm just roughly popping this into the crease, and then I'm just going up at the end. Everything I do it with that lift. Now I'm just going to get a little bit more of a specific brush with a little bit of a darker colour. I'm just going to go right into the outer corner of this eye. I'll blend all of this out with another brush as well. Then I'm going to get a, again, more precise brush, and I'm going to just pop the darker shade under the lower lash line. What we're going to do now, I suppose, is this modern fox eye that people are obsessed with. So simply get a very sharp angled brush, a nice dark colour, like dark brown. So I think we're going to go with Burn from this palette here. I'm going to dip it in quite liberally. And then from the halfway point of my eye, I'm going to stamp it on. So rather than doing a liquid eyeliner, I'm going to stamp on this eyeliner just halfway. And then once that's on, I'm going to go completely at an angle here, just up like that. And then down a little bit from the end of it and connect it. Like that. And that way you get to have quite a nice sharp wing liner without having to actually deal with any of the liquid liner issues. And I know that liquid liner can be quite intimidating. So I'm going to brush them out slightly with a clean brush, just so that it's not too clean, because at the end of the day I want it to be a soft smoky look. So I've just got a clean brush, I'm doing that over it, clean brush, doing this over it again, and that's those eyes done. I do have a few liquid liners though that I can go through. Don't get me wrong, again, I do use a high-end liquid liner usually, but I have these liquid liners here which I found are great. So the NYX matte liquid liner is great if I wanted to do a big line, just because it's got a nice brush like this. However, sometimes if I'm in a hurry, I need to use a felt tip like this. So this is the L'Oreal Tattoo Signature, which is definitely a dupe for the Kat Von D Tattoo Trooper liner. However, I did also enjoy the Kiko one. It's in a pot like this, and then you can use either a liner brush. So if you want to do a graphic liner where you actually draw something on your eye, this is much more freeing, because you can just dip in as much as you need and use it, rather than in the felt tip, which it's kind of distributed gradually while you do it. Next then is going to be eyelashes. So I usually use a high-end mascara as well, but I have found that the Paradise mascara seems to be quite good. I'm very picky when it comes to my mascaras though. I like it to really cling to the lashes and separate them. This is good, but again, I would prefer to use my Benefit Roller Lash or my Kat Von D Go Big or Go Home. But this is the best drugstore one that I have found so far. I like that it's a little bit dry so that it doesn't transfer onto my upper eyelid, and I like that it has a bit of a grip on the brush as well. This blew up on TikTok, and you know what? I think that it totally deserved to, because I bought it because of the hype and I actually think that it's fabulous. So you've got the liquid lipstick side and then you've got the clear gloss side, and it claims to be completely untransferable. The only thing is that it basically turns into like super glue while it's drying, so you have to let it dry properly. So I pop it on and I overline it slightly using just the same color. And then I need to let that dry, because if I move around it'll actually stick my lips together, so I need to let that totally dry. I've given it another minute and it's completely dried now, and it is completely transfer proof. But so the gloss itself is not transfer proof, but usually if you put gloss over a transfer proof lipstick, the lipstick then transfers as well, but not this one. So now, nothing on the back of my hand. It's got the gloss, but the lipstick is still completely transfer resistant. So that is my full face of drugstore, cost effective, I don't want to say cheap because it's not cheap, but I am much more cost effective, much more wallet friendly makeup look. I do think it makes my skin look nice and clear. I still got the effect that I wanted overall from this makeup look. So comment down below if you use any of these products, or if you want me to try out any products that are currently in the drugstore. There is quite a few things that I want to try, but obviously seeing as we've been on lockdown, I've not been to any of the shops. So anything that I've ordered, it's because I've seen an advertisement for it or seen it in a video. It would really mean a lot to me if you would click like, comment, subscribe, share, anything like that. You can find me over on Instagram on makeup_and_metaphors. You can find me on TikTok at makeup and metaphors as well. Usually just me putting on makeup, taking off makeup, or making some food. Thank you so much for joining me on this lovely day. I hope that you have a fantastic week, month, year, whatever, and I will see you the next time I see you. Bye.